Greetings from Jivrus Technologies. In this video, we are going to see how to interact with Google Sheets from Google Forms using Form Director. There are two different services that you can do it with Google Sheets using Form Director. First one is creating records on Google Sheets. So on submission of a Google form, you can create rows in Google Sheets. The second one is using Google Sheet as a template, publish a new Google Sheet as well as generate PDF and other documents. These are the two different services. I have an invoice form. On submission of this form, I want to generate an invoice from this Google Sheet template, and I want to insert into two more spreadsheets. One is engineering works. I want to insert a record here. The second one is invoice summary. I want to insert a row here. To do this, we are going to use Form Director. Let's launch Form Director. Start setup. We will choose Google Sheet as an app. So when you see here, there are two services available, publish sheet and create record. So for this scenario, we need both. We need to make one publish sheet to generate invoice from this invoice template, and two of the create records, two create record services that we need to do to insert records into engineering works and invoice summary. First, let us configure publish sheet. Let's call this as generate invoice. So the first thing that we need to do is choosing a template. So I have a template here called invoice template, which is prepared. If you closely look at this template, it has dynamic fields: the project, submitted on, client name, address, invoice number, and I also have some formulas which is working on the dynamic fields. So I have a due date here, which is 15 days from the submitted on date. So it is using this formula to add 15 days to this. So for the items here, I have item quantity 1, rate 1. Also, I'm calculating the total price using a formula. So if you look at this here, it is quantity into unit price, that is becoming the total price. Also, the subtotal is sum of these two prices. I have an adjustment here, which is a dynamic field. Then the final value is subtotal minus discount. So that is the final total. I want to use this as a template and generate the actual invoice. So let me choose this as a template. So the invoice template is chosen. Now I can say that the template can be used as a single sheet or all sheets of the template to be used. So if you go back to the template, I have two tabs here. One is the invoice tab itself, the other one is instructions. This also has some dynamic fields. So I want to use both the sheets from this particular Google sheet. So I'm going to say use all sheets. Form Director has identified 13 fields from the Google Sheet as a dynamic fields. So next thing is we need to choose a destination place where to keep the generated invoices. I have kept a folder called generated invoice. So I want to choose that folder as the destination folder. So the folder can be navigated using this button. Currently the folder is empty. So destination spreadsheet, we are generating a new one. Let us give a name to the generated invoice. Let's say it is invoice hyphen. I will use some dynamic field. I'll put the client name hyphen. I'll put the invoice number also. So my invoice will be invoice hyphen the name of the client hyphen the invoice number, which I am going to input here. I can see there are 13 app fields that has come from Google Sheet based on the dynamic fields that is available there. So now let's go ahead and do the mapping. There are 10 fields which are matching directly with the form fields. So let's go ahead and map it automatically. Let me see if there is any other field which are not matching. So the address field is not there, so let's match that. So this is called client address. I'm mapping it. Quantity 1 and quantity 2 are not mapped because it is a different name. Okay, so let's map it. Okay, I have mapped all the 13 app fields here. Let me save this. The next thing is about notification. On publishing of the sheet, basically on generating of this invoice, I want to send out a communication to the client email that I am providing here. So how do I do that? Let me go and configure the email template for it. I will save. I want this email to be sent from Green Sparrow Engineering to the client email. Say the client email here. So this will come in this notation of dynamic fields, and then it will dynamically identify the email that has been submitted and send it. So I want to give a title saying that your invoice for the project. I mentioned the client name here. So it automatically puts all this information. Let me leave it there. Then I'll just put that it is from Green Sparrow Engineering. So now the email template is ready. So what we are saying is, on generation of this invoice, it has to send an email to this client email with this templated message. Let's save this. So then I can say that the generated invoice also needs to be attached to the email. So I am generating a Google Sheet. I don't want to attach the Google Sheet. I want to generate a PDF and attach that to the email. I can also generate different types of documents and then attach it. For now, I'm going to attach only the PDF. So now we have configured a generate invoice service which uses publish service type, and then it is using a template of invoice and generating the invoice in this naming, and it is going to present it in the generated invoice folder. Let's go ahead and save this. Next, let us go ahead and create services for inserting into engineering works and invoice summary. Two different Google Sheets. We want to insert rows. Let's go ahead and create those services. Choose Google Sheet. This time, let's choose create record as a service. Let me give a name to this. So let me choose where to insert the record. Let me choose the Google Sheet. The Google Sheet is here. It's called engineering works. Let me choose that. Okay, engineering works has a tab called orders, which is coming here, and it is identifying there are 6 fields in the sheet. So these are the 6 fields. So the first row is expected to be having headers, so that are identified as the fields. Okay, let's go ahead and do the mapping. All the 6 fields are automatically identified. Let's go ahead and do the mapping. Since the name is same between the form and the Google Sheet, it is automatically identified. Let's save this. I do not want to send a notification, so we'll switch off this. So the second service is now ready. So third service is to insert a row into invoice summary, the spreadsheet. Let's create that service also. Choose Google Sheet again. Choose create record. Let's give a name here saying that invoice service. Let's choose the sheet. This is the one. Similar to the last invoice, it is automatically identifying 4 fields that are from this Google Sheet in the top header. Let us go ahead and do the mapping. Three fields are identified. There is one more field which is not identified. That is a new status field which is not there in the form. What I want to do is, for the status, I want to keep this as open. So this is string open, that will come there. Let's save this. Again, for this service, I don't want to send a notification. Let's switch off. Save this. Let us quickly review the services that we have configured. The first service is generate invoice. So this will publish a new invoice based on a templated Google Sheet. The second and third services are create record services. The engineering works service will insert a record into engineering works Google Sheet. Similarly, invoice summary service will insert a record into invoice summary Google Sheet. Okay, now all the configuration is ready. Let us go ahead and test this. Let me enter some information in the form. Let me give my email ID so that I can test the receipt of the email. I have now entered the information required for the invoice form, the client information, the email ID, the address, the project name, the invoice number, some information about the item 1, item 2 that we are going to put that in this invoice. So when I am submitting this, I expect an invoice to be generated using this template, and one record to be inserted into this Google Sheet, another record to be inserted into this, and from the first service it sends out an email to the email ID that is mentioned here. With the generated invoice. So let us see how it goes. Let me submit it. So the invoice started creating here. The invoice is created. If you look at this, this is following the same naming convention that we have mentioned. Let us open the invoice. So based on the formula that has been mentioned in the Google Sheet, it has calculated the total price and subtotal and the final total. The second sheet has instruction that is also attached here. So this is the output of the first service. Let's go and look at the second and third service output. If you look at this, it has inserted one record with whatever fields that we have mapped. Similarly, for the third service, it has inserted one record into invoice summary based on the fields that we have mapped. Finally, we can also see the email notification that has come out from the first service. So it says your invoice for the project name, and it says hi, client name and all these details, and then it also attaches the invoice. So in this way, Form Director has been very effective in interacting with Google Sheets in terms of publishing based on templated Google Sheet as well as inserting into existing sheets. You can keep exploring and try to map it with your use case. Thank you.